Howdy everyone, hello and welcome to the July channel update. I am the Black Shadow, and yes, hello and welcome. It's been a busy month or so as far as the channel's been concerned. It's not been too bad, all things considered. It's been incredibly warm here, especially it was last week. But, you know, it is June. We got quite a few bits and pieces to get on with over the course of this update. As always, there'll be timestamps in the video description below, so if there's only certain bits you're interested in having a view of, then do feel free to jump and skip around as you so feel necessary. Before we actually go on to the channel for once, actually something that I need to have a quick discussion about, which I haven't actually really talked about properly yet on the channel yet. As Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village, whatever the hell you want to call it, there was, of course, the announced sort of release trailer that was came out for this about 3 weeks ago. And I have had some questions being asked about my thoughts on it. It's kind of difficult to have a lot of thoughts on Resident Evil 8, in that it's fairly apparent that the plot of Resident Evil 8 is going to be following on largely from, it's sequeling from Resident Evil 7. Obviously, I've not done Resident Evil 7 yet, so it's kind of hard to comment about a lot of the intricacies of the plot, and there's tons of content out there or videos that would do a far better job than myself of kind of delving into that and theorizing, whatever else. Even with the release trailer that was brought out, like the 2.5 minutes or so, there's not a huge amount, really, to go with that, other than it's going to be plenty of spooky cult stuff, and there may or may not be, you know, freaking lichens and God knows what. Chris is in it, either as, you know, goodie or baddie, we don't know. Maybe he's meant to be, like, kind of trailing in between, and then ultimately, you know, he's the good guy, right? We shall see. All we do know is that this game is meant to be coming out next year, and that is only meant to be coming out for the next generation consoles. So, you know, as and when a release date becomes more apparent, I might have more of an idea what will be going on in regards to the series, whether I'll have the ability or availability to do the game as on the channel when it's released. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe, but I can't guarantee that sort of thing. Even if I was to do it, however, I think it's pretty apparent I have to do Resident Evil 7 first. And as long as it's not going to be, you know, the spring or, like, you know, February freaking 2021, it's another damn yearly thing, then that could be a bit more awkward. I'm hoping this is going to be towards the back end of next year. That's the hope, but we shall have to see. But yeah, say when more information on this comes out, I'll talk about Resident Evil 8 a little bit more, and then I might look at trying to get Resident Evil 7 done at some point, which I ought to do. We've been talking about platinum on the Discord server and about that as well, so we'll talk about this a bit more in details. But overall, yeah, looking forward to it. Should be all right. I reckon it'll be fairly solid, if perhaps a little wacky, and probably will have some revisionist retconning history in it as well, but this is not something new to the series, so hey-ho. Speaking of Resident Evil, actually, this brings us to what's kind of going on in regards to the channel. So yesterday, I went and uploaded an absolute ton of Resident Evil Resistance games. I think there was about, like, 14 in total that I uploaded. This was a deliberate thing, folks, in that I did have still a fairly healthy backlog of videos that I've been uploading. These have been going up sort of like 2-3 times a week over the course of the past while, and, you know, I'm still enjoying playing Resistance, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. However, some of these games are a bit old. Like, for example, Zarish Wars here was literally 2 months old from yesterday when it got actually publicly released. And that's not ideal, you know, like here, you know, Nikolai had only just come out and some bits and pieces here. Some of the last games here was done on the PlayStation 4, which is where I'm now doing most of my playing of Resistance, because the PC version I haven't been enjoying so much as of late, so I made the move over to PS4. Also, for the fact that most people that I knew that have been playing on PC are no longer doing so. There's still quite a few people that I know are playing it on PS4, so that's not a reason me delving into that. Anyways, bit of a tangent there. The whole reason of me doing this and having uploaded this all yesterday is clearing some space in the schedule of upcoming series. I kind of didn't want too many things going on at once, and I didn't see much harm in just block uploading all of this stuff that's been done, some of it for weeks. Just getting it all up on the channel and cracking on, just freeing up the schedule for some other side series that are going to be starting on the channel in the next couple of days. So this is basically how things are going to be working here. Obviously, we have our main series of Grand Theft Auto 4, which I have been enjoying quite a lot, actually, since we started this. A lot of people on the channels have been enjoying it as well. It's been, as I say, a bit of a weird mix of nostalgia as well as other bits and pieces, but I think it's been pretty good. It's been really cool. Use your words, Shadow, for the love of Christ. It's been very entertaining to play. It's been a nice kind of throwback to, my memory-wise of, like, when I used to play this a lot, like 10, 12 years ago, or whatever the heck it was, and, it's fascinating thinking back to then and how things were incredibly different for me back then compared to what it is now. So there's kind of that thing going on, as well as the fact that I think actually the game itself is actually being quite entertaining. There's a lot of little nuances about the game I don't remember. We're just delving into the saga that's going to be erupting between Playboy and Dwayne Forge, and that's going to need resolving, and all sorts of bits and pieces. We've just gotten access to the third island, so we've got all sorts of people to be meeting and getting on with, and that's really, really all well and good. Of course, a reminder that this series will be featuring both the Lost and Damned and Battle of Gave Tony DLCs, which means this series will be going on for a little while yet. But that was the whole point of it. I knew it was going to take a while, being it's now July. The idea being that hopefully this series will be largely done by the time we sort of get towards Halloween season. That's the rough idea of scheduling, and hence why I'm doing 5/6 videos of this a week, because I know it's gonna be a long series. It should be noted that I have to do more recording of this. I'm out of content for pretty much everything, actually, now, apart from one series I'll get to in a second. I'm going to be doing recording of this once I have updated this update video, and then videos of this will be resuming tomorrow, hence why there hasn't been anything up there. But thanks about everyone who's been participating in the comments. We've had all sorts of bizarre trackers going on, keeping count of all sorts of statistics about the game, which I didn't expect, but has been enjoyable nonetheless. And again, I hope you guys have been enjoying the series as well. Now, let's really get on to the side stuff. So, I had made a mention, I'll do this one first actually, of Croc 2 in the last sort of like semi-update I wanted to do. A game that I've never played. Obviously, we did a playthrough of the original series several months back, and it's a game that I do want to delve into. I've always wanted to have a crack with it, and it could be a lot of fun. Now, the idea was I was going to be beginning uploading this like now. However, there's been a slight change of plans, not a huge one, in that I'm going to be uploading something else to the channel first that I've been doing over the past couple of weeks. Once that's completed, then I'll be doing Croc 2 after that, and then I might likely be going to the original game sequel. Said original game being Overcooked. This went free on Epic Games a couple of weeks or so ago, and it's a game I'd always wanted to play, and so I looked on the Discord and managed to recruit Gene Bean, who some of you may recognise from the Resistance streams that I've been doing, who also had the game. Over the past couple of Fridays, we scoured through Overcooked, completing both the main game as well as the 2 side DLCs, which I've still got to edit and sort out down here. It was a very enjoyable experience. I'm very glad that I finally got to be able to do the chance to do it. And I, at this point, am also looking at Overcooked 2, which came out not that long ago, all things considered. And actually features proper multiplayer. You might be wondering, well, hold on a Shadow, this game has not got actual proper multiplayer. It's only local, so how did you do it? Parsec, everyone. Parsec. If you don't know it, look it up. It's a fucking awesome piece of software. So that's how we did it, and yeah, really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a nice little fun sort of side series. Again, the point with Croc 2 as well is that alongside the quote, seriousness, unquote, of GTA 4, I want to do some series on the side that are a lot more lighthearted in nature, and Overcooked certainly fills that bill. So this will be going up from tomorrow as well. I believe I've got a schedule up for this. Where is it? Here we are. Here's the schedule we've got here. So again, GTA 4 will be going Monday to Saturday, assumably. There might be the occasional day where one doesn't happen. I'll try and notify as much as possible. And RTK and Overcooked will be alternating between the Monday and Saturdays as well. Once Overcooked is complete, this will turn into Croc. And then probably Overcooked 2 or whatever the hell else I do on the side. And then streams, I'm still doing my Resistance streams on Sundays. I do have intentions to kind of do occasional streams throughout the week. I haven't done that the past week or so because it has been very warm in here. It's been very warm anyways, and this room that I'm in gets very warm very, very quickly. And as such, when it's that uncomfortable, it doesn't make great conditions for doing recording or streaming, neither for myself nor for the PC, which I have put that through before. Not this one particularly, but my old one in past summers where it was incredibly hot, and I feel very guilty about doing so. So likely streaming might be taking a touch of a backseat for the time being, but that will definitely be changing further on down the line, especially as we get towards like Halloween season, where a lot more of that stuff sort of goes on. But I'll talk about that like probably next month, going into August. I'll talk more about my plans for the Halloween season. So that's the rough idea of things there. So Resistance, I say I am still playing Resistance. I'm still enjoying playing Resistance. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I had been previously. It's not the PC game's fault as such. It's just that due to issues of numbers, playing games on it is incredibly hard work at the moment, and it is hard for me to recommend people who do want to try Resistance. So I think that it's Resistance is not. It's better than this. I would argue it's better than that, but that is what it is. And the game is improving pretty much every time they update it. They're making changes and additions and whatever else, and the game is gradually starting to take better shape. It's a much better shape than it was when the game first came out. It's still a game with its what's the best word to use here? Things that could be done better. I'm sure there is an all-inclusive word for that I just can't quite think of at the moment. But nonetheless, it's very difficult to pick up and play because a lot of people that are playing the game currently at the moment are people that are putting in, dozens, if not hundreds of hours into the game. And that makes up a significant portion of the player base. So it's very difficult for new people to be picking up this game at the moment on the PC. It just is what it is. This is why I made the transfer to the PlayStation 4 version, because although the player base still is not exactly outstanding, it's significantly better than the PC, and from what I'm told, the Xbox as well, though I don't know, there are still regularly, every day, like 2, 3, 4,000 people every single day trying out Resistance, which is a fairly impressive number to all things considered. That's not even including people that are, playing the game consistently as well. So yeah, why PS4 is doing significantly better than any of the other platforms, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for you. I've tried to kind of puzzle it out. A few people on the Discord server have, but I mean, Resident Evil's always been kind of a console-based sort of series anyways, and the PC ultimately has a lot more competition and ultimately a lot more expectation. So even though the PC version is the most superior version of the game and that it runs in 60 frames per second and the console variants only run in 30, at least for the games in general, it just is what it is, folks. And as such, that's why I'm playing PS4. That's where the majority of the player base is, so that is where I wish to put my time in, because I can still play it at a more casual level. It's not like I play the game once a week, say on the for the stream on PC, and like every game is just balls to the wall insane. And I had like Pete and that who was trying to pick up the game, and it's incredibly difficult. It really, really is. So it is what it is. But I've been enjoying it. I'm still intending to do further videos for the Resistance highlights. I do have a couple I need to pick out actually for the previous stream. There were some good games in that actually. As for when these are going to be uploaded onto the YouTube channel, I don't currently know. It's possible I may do those on the Sundays. The idea being that Sundays will already be dying for the Resistance stream, so it might be I do it on then. I haven't worked that one out. I don't know. Obviously, there is no set amount of games that necessarily become highlights because it depends on the games that I have. Like the stream before, there wasn't really anything particularly worthy of it. This one, there was some half-decent games. I've been playing around with my character builds as well, and am very much getting a lot of success on the game at the moment compared to where I was previously. They needed some tweaking. There was a recent title update as well. And for sure, the builds I've got for, especially like Sam, is very, very good. And there aren't many weaknesses, and I'm experiencing that in game. My success rate is skyrocketing at the moment, and it's great. I really enjoy that. So yeah, so there'll be more Resistance coming onto the YouTube channel. There are still a few folks that are keeping an eye on the games I put up, and I try and pick the best ones that I can for it, and try not to do too much content of these, because, you know, Resistance highlights, yet of course, officially there's like 40 videos in this. Although this is over the course of 3 months, and must be about the best part of 300 hours worth of time put into Resistance in the whole. So 40 games out of that's not a huge chunk, so I think it's fairly indicative. Anyway, so that's that. I must admit, I don't know how long Resistance is going to be going on for the channel, however. This again ties into the Halloween season, because I have something on my mind at the moment, something that I want to make a return to very soon. And that is this. I've not touched Dead by Daylight for just over a year now. The game has seen various DLCs released since the last time I touched it. It was just the midst of going through like major sort of gameplay changes at the time when I was basically when I put the game down and had done enough of it for now. But I am eyeing up returning to it for the Halloween season. I don't quite know when that will be yet. I'm kind of keeping an eye out for Dead by Daylight, even though I do own the game, and it should be noted the game is currently 60% off. You know, it's like $7.50. If you've not ever played Dead by Daylight, I would thoroughly recommend giving it a go. It's probably currently one of, if not maybe the most enjoyable game of its genre in existence at this point. Would I say it's a better game than Resistance? I kind of am forced to say yes, although there are definitely significant differences between the two. I've talked about that previously. I'm not going to get dragged in that conversation. Regardless, there are people that are starting to pick it up anyways on the Discord server, so much I've actually made a separate section for Dead by Daylight, and I do intend to make a return to the game at some point in the future, if not sort of around Halloween season, then maybe somewhat before that. But I'm enjoying Resistance more at this point than I was. It was a case of if I'd kind of already was done Resistance for now, then I would have probably already made the transition back over to Dead by Daylight, because I do enjoy the gameplay. It brings out a very competitive part of me, like a lot of these games do. It just is what it is, folks. But there are people who have played this game for literal thousands of hours. Literal thousands of hours. I always remember a game I played with Cormag when we were first picking this up. I think we both put in... I think we played the game for about 60, 70 hours at this point, and we went against a killer who had been playing the game for no joke, 3,500 hours. What are you meant to do other than just shrug? It's about the best you can do, really. Anyways, but yeah, so the game is definitely heavily reduced on Steam. They've just brought out recently the Silent Hill DLC, which actually looks not too bad from what I've seen. Again, I haven't really looked too heavily into it. I've not played the game for some time, but it's, you know, it's a cool thing, and it's nice to see the Silent Hill licensing being used in places that outside of, you know, Konami, because, or whoever the hell, because, you know, they haven't really done very much of it for a while, of them making slot machines. It's nice to see. So, anyways, this will be returning soon. I don't have a concrete date yet. If not in the next month, then definitely around the Halloween season, I'll be picking this up for definite sure. Right, so I think that's about everything I can think of particularly. The Twitch channel has seen some changes. The reason for that being that they have they've changed like the overlay sort of system. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is what it is. But, you know, make do what it is. The current stream calendar currently is pretty empty because I haven't really been doing many streams at the moment. And it's, I say, I will definitely be doing more of those in the very near future. Probably like from like August onwards, but I don't have many plans to do many streams on July apart from maybe a few infrequent ones. I am like kind of eyeing up maybe doing some work with like some more resistance mods for Resident Evil 2. There's some that I talked about that I'm kind of interested in getting into, but I'll need to kind of do some work to get all that set up. I've got lots of odds and ends currently to be dealing with, so if I do intend to do streams on that, I'll make I'll make an announcement on YouTube detailing that and a time of when I'll actually be doing that. But currently, it's only Resistance at the moment, apart from bits and pieces I set up as and when. I'll work it out as I go. It's kind of how things are at the moment. Other than that, that's more or less everything as far as this is concerned. A huge thank you again to everyone who is contributing via the Patreon, especially during these very, very strange times. Should be noted that I have had to do a little bit of changing to this recently. The reason for that is that sales tax is about to start being brought about across Patreon for a variety of reasons. I have had to go through the tiers and do some editing of bits and pieces. Nothing particularly has hugely changed, but mainly just kind of doing some detailing of what stuff does. Hopefully, this will reduce the amount of people having actually to pay any kind of sales tax at all, because basically most things here are purely donation based. It's not like people are betting stuff like commissions of art or whatever else. It's not really the nature of the of what this Patreon is. So hopefully that will make save some few pennies for some people. If not, then you have my regrets and condolences. I have previously posted about locations, and there is a link on that. There's a news article some here or another anyway. I think it's on the homepage somewhere about the places that are required to do that. But it's here somewhere, folks. It's here somewhere. So I'll keep an eye on that as best as I can, do what I can for you guys, and see what we can do there. Other than that, it's a case of usually, as always, if you've got any questions, bits and pieces, do throw them in the comments section below. I will respond to them as soon as YouTube decides to tell me that I've received comments. I think I've noticed what YouTube started doing is usually I would get like a notification for like pretty much every comment I receive. It seems to be what YouTube's doing, which I don't particularly like, although I get it, is that, say I bring out like GTA 4, for example, part 19. I'll get a notification for like the first comment that goes down, but then I won't get any more notifications really for any more comments onto the video until I've addressed the first one. And then it will, like any new ones beyond that, it will then tell me about. I don't particularly like the system at all. It's making feedback and commenting with you guys more difficult than it should be, but it's... I don't know what to say, folks. There's not really much I can particularly do. This is one of the reasons why I did kind of move into doing streams every now and again. It's a nice way to be able to correspond with you guys on a much more consistent basis, at least while I am streaming. So, again, this is why, I am posting all the links to stuff that I do on Twitter where possible, as well as little news updates here and there, and comments as and when I receive them, as well as cute kittens doing cute things. They pop up from time to time. I fucking love this GIF. It's so goddamn great. So yeah, there's always that, and again, always the other way to keep in contact with both myself as well as the community at large is the channel Discord. There's that, of course, as the Discord section below. As I say, we've got ourselves the Dead by Daylight section here now, which is going to be getting busier and busier as time goes on. Chat about Resident Evil Resistance and discussing about various bits and pieces of builds and whatever else. Our thread will give RTK and Alonso getting rather carried away with the art style that he's seeing in Roman to the King Freaking 13. As awesome as it is noticeable. And other bits and pieces as well. The latest releases thread, obviously general gaming. Yeah. You know what time it is, everyone. It's everyone's favorite. What have we got today? It was raining cats and dogs the other day. I almost stepped in a poodle. That's kind of dark and grim. It's gonna be Whenever the cashier at the grocery store asked my dad if he would like the milk in the bag, he replies, "No, just leave it in the carton." Whenever the cashier... What? I must be missing it. It's either that or I'm just getting too old for these. Getting too old for a dad joke. Would that mean I'm... Let's not think about that. Anyways, so thank you very much for listening as always. So yeah, tomorrow will be resumption of GTA 4. I have to do more recording with Alonso with RTK. We're also out of videos for that series as well. So the next part of that will be coming up on Friday. This is a general uploading schedule. So tomorrow will be GTA 4. Day after that will be GTA 4 and the beginning of Overcooked. And then Friday will be the resumption of RTK 11. And that should be a rough schedule of how things were proceeding, at least for the next few weeks or so. Expect changes as and when appropriate. This sort of thing happens, you know? Take care, everyone. Ta-ta for now. Ding, ding.